Good morning. Good morning. We have our coffee. We have our notes. We have our Iron Maiden coffee mug, which I'm sure you guys don't care about. We are trying to get organized here. We'll do some market updates. We're on the StreamYard because I'm trying to get used to it. So we'll be doing more of that. Yeah, so we're getting a couple of people in here. Let's get this on the other YouTubers. There we go. There I am in my beautiful self. Oh man, good morning everybody. Got 5 people in here. Sweet. So it's kind of funny. I've been home for so long that people think that this is a permanent situation right now, but it's not. I got to get back in the truck. I've got a doctor's appointment on Monday, and it snowed last night. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that out the window. It snowed last night, and making for some slick roads out here this morning. I've been watching some trends. I've been kind of, I don't know. I had some ideas. I woke up this morning with some ideas about some YouTube stuff outside of this space and back out in that space, right? But having structure is incredibly important doing this home stuff. And it's fixing to get kind of hectic today. So I figured we'd do a morning coffee first thing in the morning, have a little chat, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And yeah, it is a dusting, Charles. It is a dusting. You Michiganders. It is. I think we only got like a half an inch. But what happens is that it slick and MoDOT doesn't really come out on that stuff. So, but either way, it does not make me motivated to go out there, right? Go out there. So, all right, let's do some shout outs. We got 18 Wheels, Don Schonger, Jeremy Rice, Mr. Charles Grago. Hey, Snorelord, what's up, man? Desert Okie Pam, morning, Snorelord. I was just watching you and Jeff from yesterday, says Jeremy. I thought he took that down. Did he keep that up? I thought he took it down. Yeah, that was a long live feed. It was at one point that I was like, man, I got stuff to do. So I just left. I didn't even announce it because, Eric was talking and Jeff was doing this thing. And at that point, I'm like, these guys got it. They'll take over, So I can't be the guy that's in this chair for hours on end because, we were dealing with one of our drivers in his situation, which that was what was talked about on Jeff's feed. And then I got a call from my other driver and what his needs are. And at one point, right after that live feed, I had some lunch, and I didn't want to eat on camera because that's rude, right? I had some lunch, and the phone rang, and then I was on the phone for like almost the entire time. So still up? Okay. So coffee with Snorelord is a nice part of this trucker's morning. Well, good deal, Hot Seat. I appreciate that. I was talking to one of our contractors' husband yesterday, and we were chatting. He's an old school guy, and he was giving me some compliments, which is I told him, man, I could find 100 people that would argue with you, but I appreciate the compliments. People say that I'm easy to talk to. I don't know about that. My kids might have a different opinion. So, but Pigtail, what's up, man? Pigtail, you are in the house. What's up? I watched it too. It was awesome, live, very insightful, the broker's point of view. Let me give you a history of me and Sage News Network. Eric came out on the scene. I forget, he's changed his name like 15 times. He came out on the scene as wanting to educate drivers from a broker's point of view. And he reached out to me via email and said, hey, I would like to talk to you. So I called him up, and the first time we talked on the phone, it was for like an hour and a half, a couple hours. It was a weird noise. And he kind of gave me some tips from their point of view, because here's the thing. So in order to get a better perspective of whatever you're doing, you want to get the perspective of the other side. In other words, you want to know what the other team sees, right? And he was able to give me a broker's point of view of things that I hadn't really thought about, because as truck drivers, we have this, tunnel vision. Like, okay, this is only my perspective, right? But logistics is all of this, right? And that becomes important in understanding why brokers do certain things, why shippers do certain things, why you might see this going on the load boards. And then beyond that, like trends and things that are coming down the line, because there are things in play right now that are going to affect us a month from now, what good or bad, And Eric struggled with this channel because he kind of got involved in some of the drama. He attached himself to some of the other channels that's all they do. And I told him to stay out of that loop. And at one point, his channel ended. He started a new channel, and he started building up. And I give him a perspective of what drivers are thinking, what drivers are looking at, what I'm seeing on the road, which brought him to the path that he's on now. And so within, I don't know, 2-year span, he has morphed into this. I think he's got 11,000 subscribers now. And now, granted, his platform is different. It's more about news and what's going on, but he uses the world of logistics. And so his input has been, we make a good team. I help him with some perspectives of things that I'm seeing. And then because I'm in the dry man world, he is not. So I had to kind of like, okay, this is what 90% of the people are watching or dealing with you. And then CDN Broker came in there, and he's been, he and I have been chatting online for quite a while. He sends me a lot of like health related videos, and he appreciates my health related content that I've had. And he's also got a perspective, but he's out of Canada. And one of these days I might have to interview him to kind of get his perspective of what's going on with the Canadian truck drivers and the border stuff, because I'm kind of out of the loop. I watched a video this morning of Asian Mai interviewing Nevada Trucking and Trails, and who's the other guy? No, it's not. Oh, there he is. Wheelburner Express. And he was wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. It's like, yeah, this guy's cool. He's got a beard. He's got an Iron Maiden shirt, So I need to investigate his channel a little bit. In Nevada, man, you got to give it up for Nevada. Nevada knows how to run a YouTube channel. He knows everybody. He's in all the chats, and his channel is growing quite fast. I mean, he's gonna do well with it. Winter is hard to stay motivated to do anything. I do not like the snow or cold at all. Yet you live in Michigan. It's funny, Chucky. Excuse me. Is he? I've got a friend that's moving down here from Minnesota, or looking to move down here, and I, it's like -22 up there, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's 20 degrees here. Um, and I tried to get you guys down here too, but whatever. So, oh, we got Nomadic Brit. What's up, man? How you doing? 354 snow women would like to see a snowman in your garden. What? DIY trucking. Let's click on your deal here, man. Good morning. DIY, I lost your email, so I was trying to give you a compliment on the video about the wreck, and of course you turned the comments off, which I understand, and I wanted to email you, but I couldn't find your email. So if you don't mind, send me a quick email saying hey, and that way I can save that address. But DIY Semi is another one of these guys that have got a really great channel. He's definitely got the right perspective. So what's up, twin truckers? How's it going? Have you convinced Eric to go to Matt's? No, I haven't even, to be honest with you, that was the first time I talked to him in a while. It used to be that Eric and I were talking every morning, but since this news thing's really kind of taken off, he's, and he's doing the falldom thing, and he's a pretty busy person. I was surprised that he was in as long as he was yesterday, but I haven't. We used to have this morning chat at 5 and 6 in the morning that we used to do. He hasn't called me in a while. It's like I think he's got a lot of gears rolling in that head of his. So, but as far as convincing him to leave that house, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But all we can do is ask, right? Shannon, what's up? Oh, Rick LP, how you doing? Mr. Charles? No. Been watching the new season of Ozark. Show's amazing. Don't spoil anything, Rick. I have not started watching it yet. If I was in the truck, I would have had it done by now, right? But I'm not. And I can't justify watching it during the day, especially when the kids are out and about, because, my youngest who's a junior in high school, by the way, but they're doing virtual learning this week because Springfield Public Schools are struggling with the COVID world. And so that's something for late at night or early morning, which I almost got up at 4 and started to watch it, but I wanted to sleep a little bit longer. So I have a routine. What's up, Paul? Hope all is well. 38 degrees here in Phoenix this morning, 69 this afternoon. I remember the days of Phoenix. I used to live there. And down 38 degrees, man, makes you feel like there's a foot of snow on the ground if you live in Phoenix. I know, Chucky. We couldn't get pre-approved, and with all that happened that last year, the Lord kept us in Michigan for good reasons, and they were good reasons. So, DIY channel is superb. Yes, Shannon. Look, there's a lot to learn, especially if you want to work on your own truck or run a carrier or want to get your own authority. DIY's had some great information. Dice Man going live. What's up, man? Did you find that water pump yet? You are struggling with the rest of the Freightliner people. I've got a buddy of mine that's been down for going on 3 months now. So Fate Trucking, what's up? I always think of Fate's Warning when I see your name. Very excellent band. I really appreciate you telling us about origin stories such as how you and Eric connected, because I just started watching YouTube Truckers in March. It helps get caught up. Hot seat, well, you're welcome. My origin story is pretty simple. I have an old channel that was like vlog and music and stupid stuff. And then when I went to Landstar as an owner operator, I decided I would vlog it. Of course, my first 3 videos were the phone in the wrong direction and, typical amateur YouTube stuff. And I started vlogging about my Landstar stuff. And I just titled that one Snorelord. And or Landstar Life, that's what I titled it, because I was the only one, with the exception of 1 or 2 other people. I guess that means I wasn't the only one. There's like only 2 or 3 of us doing Landstar style vlogs. And one guy ended up getting fired from Landstar because he showed a little bit too much, and another guy was inconsistent. So I was the only one really kind of doing something every week. And one day I talked about a friend of mine that was killed in a car accident up in Kansas, a long-time good friend of mine. And some trolls came on there and said he deserved to die. He's probably driving like an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And it really kind of struck me. That's when I learned of just how it really kind of brought the reality of what it's like being in a public space, because I never really kind of got that from the other YouTube channel. So I started deleting videos. In the middle of deleting, a friend of mine said, "Dude, don't worry about it, man. Just keep on keeping on." So if you go down to my videos, the very first video that shows up is actually the only Landstar video that survived that cleansing. And it's not really even a video about Landstar, it's about CB radios. And so when I went to Snyder, that helped build my channel. So the Landstar name and the Snyder name built my channel. And then about, several years ago, I joined Like Trucking, and been running spot market. Live feeds became a thing, so I do more live than anything else, which kind of hurts my channel. And I'm not the most exciting person. I'm not going to go off the rails. I'm not going to show anything risque. I'm not going to get up in your face. I don't really start crap with anybody. So my channel struggles a little bit. My vlogs, my GoPro vlogs that I did of the driving and some of the trips and stuff like that, that was good. But I've had issues with those cameras and issues with time to edit and find good music that won't get me a copyright strike. And so, but that's what I like doing. I like doing the vlogs, but as things progress, my computer gets older, my camera equipment's out of date, my video editing software is out of date, and I do a lot of the same runs when I am running. And so there's nothing really exciting about it. So half the people watch me for that kind of stuff, and then another part of people watch for these live feeds, and another part might watch for the health stuff. I've done the carnivore challenge, I've done the keto thing, and lost 120 pounds. So if you go back to my older videos, you'll see, a 400-pound version of me. And, and that's the history there. So you just got all the history of me there. Do you ever haul freight from Kentucky? On occasion. I used to take loads into Kentucky all the time. That was some of my first few loads that I used to do a lot. There's grass seed that goes to Henderson. And I haven't done any of those loads for 2 years now. So I think another carrier probably picked them up. Good morning. How much have you missed? Nothing, Winnie. Absolutely nothing. Everyone should check Fate Trucking latest video of his hotel stay. Okay. Let's do that. So let's go to channel. I will subscribe. There you go. I'll just subscribe to you there, Fate. I'm going to go through these comments pretty quickly here. I freaking love yours and 10 lives. Seriously, learned so much. Lugnut, what's up, man? Let's highlight that comments. And Shannon's giving me compliments because I'm a sucker for compliments because, you know, building ego is important. Thank you, Shannon. There's not a whole lot that I know, but I know a little bit. I think my strengths are being able to talk to drivers and being able to use discernment between, you know, like when someone lashes out or when someone is reacting to something, I can tell you kind of why. Or, you know, I dig a little bit deeper. Okay, well, why is it that you want to stay in this area? Or why is it that you only want to do these kind of loads? Because, you know, I've traveled the entire country. I used to run practically coast to coast. I've done that. I've been driving for, I think, going on 12 years now. And, you know, but when it comes to business stuff, I'm still learning as well. And that's the thing with YouTube is you want to learn something, you absorb yourself in it. Like, you know, the keto thing, I was watching 99% of my videos were about keto, low carb, you know, scientific stuff, you know, Dr. Fung or Dr. Berg or Thomas DeLore or DeLauer, however you want to say his name, you know, the carb addict doctor, you know. And then when I was going to do the concealed carry thing, I got into that world and started discovering those YouTubers and listening to those videos and absorbing myself in that world. And now we're back to truck business mode. So I don't watch many as health videos. I don't watch as many, you know, of the tool videos. And so now we're getting into you know, I'm being very careful about this part because I don't want to get into this world of dispatch because there's a lot of these hack dispatch companies that, number one, aren't doing it legally. And number two, there's people out there selling courses on how to be a dispatcher when they have never even stepped a foot inside a truck. And not saying that if you've never driven a truck, you can't be a dispatcher, but unless you're kind of an analyst that looks at all the data and can understand the world, it's hard to be a dispatcher or a broker in any capacity, right? And so you have a lot of people that want to work from home and don't want to drive a truck, and or their husband drives and they want to help out, and they're buying these courses, and I get requests all the time in the new owner operators group, which I'm a moderator of, which I have no idea why, but someone made me that. And dispatch, you know, and I imagine for a broker, it's probably frustrating to talk to these people that really have no skin in the game, you know. I don't know. It's a weird. So I'm trying to stay out of that part. So I rely on the information that CDN tells me and that Eric tells me. And there's another one called Freight Broker. I'm trying to remember his name. And then, you know, so it's, and I'm not really a broker. I mean, yeah, there's a brokerage with our stuff, but I don't know anything about that as far as except for what Eric and Rob have told me. So I'm not ready to go out there and start banging on doors. I'm just trying to get a little bit more dispatch, and so I run my truck less and less. And so January and February is a perfect opportunity to do that. I've got money in the bank. I can still run a couple loads here and there, and we'll see what happens. You know, my two guys could give me the bird tomorrow, and not much I can do about it. So we try to do what we can, and as long as people are understanding, you know, we can kind of get there. Let's go to this. You're at home in the Georgia. That's a good place to be, Britt. Hope you're enjoying your anniversary. I watch you because you're real. I wouldn't charge a thing about your channel. Change a thing about the channel. I just want to be better, right? I want to be more engaging. I wanted to start doing interviews because I know some really good people that just don't have platforms, like Pigtail. Scott SRO. He was on the live feed yesterday with Jeff and I. He's been a mentor for me. We all try to network together, right? Stuart, what's up? Good morning. I made a video on mentorship, and I honestly feel that people that go live are probably mentoring so many people don't even realize. Thanks for going live and sharing your experience. Well, I appreciate that, Fate Trucking. I just do what I do. You know what I mean? I just do what I do. I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to sell you anything. In fact, Jeff was like, "Hey, why don't you advertise, the dispatch?" And I'm like, "Well, let's see if I can keep two guys moving before I try to bring on any more." Because things can get kind of hectic in the world. You go from, man, I think I'm gonna go get a meal, and then the phone rings, and all hell breaks loose. So I think that's part of the equation there. You are right. Your channel is on the same path, and it's great to be one of the ones that gets to be there with you from the jump. There you go, hot seat. We got Jeff is in the house. Speaking of the devil, Jeff, are you the devil? But and I can't spend all day on these live feeds because I got stuff to do when it comes to I don't want to sit there and go live for 3 hours and then a driver of mine, I don't have a load for him, right? So these morning coffee will try to be a little bit earlier. But also because look, calling low boards first thing in the morning can be a challenge, especially Monday mornings, right? You want to kind of let the dust settle a little bit, see what's going on. And so I usually don't start calling if I'm actively looking for a load till about 9 o'clock Eastern. So that's about 8 o'clock. So we're in that window where I should be on the low board, but we'll let this live feed go for a little bit because one of my guys isn't going to be empty till tomorrow night. Or no, tonight. Tonight. And then the other guy is not going to be empty till noon tomorrow, and his hours are going to be kind of sketchy. That's something that's getting used to is looking at weather and looking at 70-hour clocks. I usually book myself without worrying about my 70-hour clock. I think the highest amount of miles I've ever ran in 1 week since I've been in the spot market was 2,700 miles. So I'm sure one of you superchargers like, oh, he's not a real truck driver. Well, go ahead. I'm not a real truck driver. So that comment doesn't bother me. Morning, Steve. Thanks for the shout out. We can share more information. Email me whenever, and I can call you to save a long distance call. Right on. I appreciate that. I also have a Google number too that I can use. I thought it was 450 miles. That's what I'm up to this month. But literally, I think that's where I'm at for the month. But for a 1 week period where I actually needed a restart was 2,700 miles. I don't even think I needed it. But it was kind of funny. Facebook memories are great, right? So, um, like 2 days ago, I was in Georgia, Valdosta, doing a reset, doing a 34 down there because I got a good paying load going to Tifton, whatever. And I'm trying to remember that day, and there was a lot of things that were very negative going on at that time. So we had to we had to make some adjustments. I believe Jeff and I had to have a heart to heart about some things that week. So your approach to taking on dispatching is excellent. You're taking the deep dive approach to hone the craft of a successful dispatcher. Long-term success equals long-term success. I appreciate that. Look, I'm going to give you what I think is the secret to a successful dispatch service carrier is that in a brokerage, okay? And Robert, you can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? And Eric, if you're watching, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And Jeff, okay? I am here to serve the driver. That's how I look at it. I am here to serve the driver. The carrier is there to serve the driver. If you want to come over to Like Trucking as a contractor, we give you a platform, we give you tools, we give you low board apps, we give you a carrier that's got 5 years and hundreds of brokers that we've set up with that we can run for. And the ability to run the business your way without having to worry about a lot of accessorial charges and nickel and diming and a simple platform, right? What you see is what you get, but we're here to serve you. Carriers and dispatchers that say that the driver works for you, like driver works for me, that's going to bite you in the butt because everybody look, there was a post on there where someone was asking about being able to hire on with anybody with a suspended license, was getting off the suspension, and like a bunch of people were like jumping in to want to recruit this guy. And what we have is we have a lot of people with a lot of equipment that just want to put any meat in a seat, right? And you have to remember the human element. When you run the spot market, there's a lot of emotions at times. You're dealing with brokers, you're dealing with the shippers, receivers. The vid world doesn't help. All the climates, like the riot and political and the vid, all that stuff creates a lot of stress. There's a lot of people hurting. There's a lot of more people stressed. There's a lot more unhealthiness going on. And you have to remember the human element. You have to remember that when a truck's down for a week, that person's not worried about serving you. He's worried about whether he's going to pay his bills and be able to make that truck repair. And so you have to keep the human element in running. And I know that kind of goes against business. Business is all about business. And you can't run your business to the ground at the same time. I know a gal that had a restaurant and let her friends do whatever they wanted, and it ended up taking her business out. So you can't have that swinging the pendulum either. Going into business with friends can be tricky, right? If you're a carrier owner and you're hiring on a friend, that could be tricky. And Jeff and I have run into that at times. We have to have a friendship, and then we also have our business relationship, and it takes a little bit of intelligence to be able to differentiate those things, right? If if Jeff was to call me and say, Steve, I'm tired of your crap. You're not doing well at all. Get the hell out. Take my names off the side of your truck. That would probably be a business decision, right? And I wouldn't hold it against him unless it was something I didn't do or something like that. But then, that it would probably ruin the friendship. And that's the risk that you take. But you can't forget the human element. You want your drivers to feel that you care, because you should actually care, right? And then that's what creates loyalty. That is what creates loyalty. If people think that you care and know that you care, that creates loyalty. So, correct, Steve. Carrier and dispatch service is driver focused. Brokers are customer focused, right? I'm not a talker. I just get it done type. So when I do something, I don't have time to explain things. I deep dive and learn everything I can about it and then move forward. I agree with you there, Chucky. What's up, SRO Logistics? TJ Jones, what's up? Thoughts on the Canadian mandate? Are we next? Well, Rick, I think the Canadian mandate is a temperature test of what could happen here. The difference is I think I don't know. I hate to talk on this a whole lot because I haven't really researched it a whole lot, but maybe someone paying more attention. Are the Canadian citizens behind the truck drivers on this mandate? That's the key, right? And we live in a society where people are literally hurting other people for not wearing masks or for not being, jabbed. And so it would be easy to do the same mandate here and get the public against us as drivers. Because look at what happened with the police. Look at what happened with the health, with the healthcare workers. The healthcare workers is blowing up in the face because right now at our local hospital, our main local hospital, you're looking at a 20-hour wait if you're not actively dying in the ER. We are at, there are other countries that have their healthcare system way better set up, and the mandates are killing. We lost, I think the local hospitals here lost 40% of their employees when that mandate went through. So I don't think it will happen because it would literally turn this country upside down. So we'll see. Chicago model? I don't know what that is. See? I don't know anything. I think that's different than what you guys bring to the table. Well, we try. TJ, what's up? And look, I can only help for so long, but you got to help yourself. It's one of those deals. If I keep giving you advice and you never take it, then more likely I won't talk to you as much. And that's honest, because there are people that. And look, I'm not a be all end all by no means. I mean, I'm really not. I don't know how much I could stress that. However, I know what I've failed at, and it's through failure that you become stronger. I know it's almost allowed me to go under. I know what was a struggle for me. And if I can keep you from struggling just as much, then that's what my goal is. Or at least give you the right perspective when you're struggling. I think that's where my strength is. And I've had people that I've called and tried to help them, like, look, these are the 3 things that I'm trying to help you with because I see this. You're heading down this path. And I've been told that I don't know what I'm talking about, which is fine. That doesn't hurt my ego. That doesn't, but I try, right? And you can't help but sometimes you just have to watch people fall, and I could fall at any moment myself. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not immune to anything. I don't have my stuff so together that, I'm the all knowing and all powerful, whatever, I'm just kind of a dude that keeps his costs low and keeps an open mind, and when I have to hustle, I can, and when I don't, I don't. So and you know, and people think, well, trucking's not a hard physical job, but it can be a mentally challenging job. Yeah, the same mandate is for us if we cross the borders. Canadians always do what they're told. Yeah, pretty much. Chicago model broker finds customer A, and then the broker finds customers B and C in town where customer A load delivers to create round trip for the carrier. Very difficult to execute. Okay, that is, yeah, because essentially that's what the spot market does, right? So let's say I get a customer out of a shipper here in Springfield, and let's say I can get 5 of our drivers on it, right? Well, then they got to use the spot to come back. You know, some very successful carriers have to use the spot to go back to normal freight. And so let's say I've got steady loads that come out of here that go to Denver. That would be a challenge because I would have to find a shipper in Denver for our guys to come back, right? So you can kind of keep them in a loop. Or you're trying to deal with the triangle. Like, and I'll give you a perfect example. The company I used to work for as a company driver, we would pick up loads out of Maine. They're just outside of Dryden, Maine. And it was plastic utensils, I think is what it was. And it was a drop trailer. Now, the only truck that we would have closest to the area would have to deliver at Bass Pro and Foxborough Stadium. And other than that, we didn't go any further east than Pennsylvania. So we didn't have consistent freight up to Foxborough, which allowed the customer in Maine to get kind of ticked off at us because I would show up one time. I showed up for a load and they're like, "Oh, you're late." No, my dispatch said this. Well, no, your company's late. Bitched at me. I called their customer service. They blew me off because I didn't know what I was talking about, which I didn't, you know. And about a month later, I had to go pick up the last empty trailer up there because we were losing that customer. So it's a dog eat dog world. And when you're dealing with, and to me, it baffles me that a lack of customer service is tolerable, you know, like what our driver dealt with yesterday. You know, the lack of customer service with the brokerage and the lack of customer service from the shipper was unbelievable. And that's the biggest struggle, whether you're company or owner op or lease op, doing contract freight or doing dedicated freight or doing spot freight. That's your biggest hurdle is people just don't care. I mean, how many of you picked up at a soft drink beverage place and just see how poorly it's run and just how much waste there is and how inefficient the check-in is, you know? Because people don't value a driver's time at all, you know? And that's probably the biggest thing if someone said, name one thing you hate about truck driving, I would say the complete and utter waste of my time that's happened. You know, our driver's got 4 hours yesterday that he's never going to get back. Causes him to lose kind of half a day in a good freight area. And he's trying to charge us. The brokerage is trying to, or the broker is trying to charge us for that. It's kind of like you get a bad meal at a fast food joint, but yet a week later you'll probably go again, right? Unless you get major food poisoning or something like that. It's like everybody has this attitude, we're too big to fail. You know, there's plenty of fish in the sea, so we can treat you like crap. And then they wonder why they struggle when things go our direction. You know, the click and goes are notorious for keeping the rates low and waiting till the last minute. And then next thing you know, they're having to pay big money because they didn't secure a truck because or they didn't have the information right or something. So it's but the biggest waste of time, if what I can do at home in 4 hours, I can do a lot more at home in 4 hours, versus sitting at a dock waiting for someone to make a decision. Well, this guy's got to email this guy, and that guy's got to email that guy, and then we got to wait from this person to make a phone call so we can email this person. Meanwhile, you're sitting at the dock, your truck's running if you don't have an APU, if it's cold out, so you're wasting fuel. So the supply chain is broken, but not in the way that they think, right? They think, oh, we just need more drivers. No, you need to stop wasting our time. Think about this. If you're able to add another 10 hours of time to each truck by loading them efficiently a week, how many millions of trucks out here? And they get 10 extra hours that they normally wouldn't have because of BS. That would solve a little bit of a capacity issue, wouldn't it? It would at least make a dent in it, right? And so logic is out the door, man. Logic just went out that door right there. It's outside somewhere, floating around in space. Can't even, I wish that was the virus, right? Wish logic was a good virus. And once you kind of get over the fact that we live in upside down world, once you kind of can come to terms with that, now you can kind of hit it head on. So. No, Grago. There are a lot of companies that the driver does load and unload, but now we have, like, if I go to a Dollar General, lumper service unloads me. Most of the time when you can't be loaded or unloaded in a timely fashion, it's because there's too much freight on the warehouse, or there's not enough product, or it can literally take 10 minutes in a forklift, and I used to drive a forklift, so I know, to empty a truck. I used to deliver books to this homeless shelter in Atlanta. One old dude with a pallet jack would unload me quicker than most places. Getting free coffee. They're appreciated that I was there. I every now and then I'll pick up loads and deliver for Convoy of Hope. And man, you want to talk about people that appreciate you. And then Nomadic Brit, I'm going to warn you on this. If you ever enter the dry man world, you're going to see a little bit different attitude. Everybody I know that went from van to tank has said that when you show up at a customer, you're appreciated. You're treated better versus, go hide in the corner so we can forget about you, Oh, get behind on comments. Top Dog Logistics. Wow, let me scroll to that. There it is. Broker told us delivery is in Greenville, South Carolina, when in reality it's Greensboro, North Carolina. Wow. Well, I've dealt with that too, right? The last time I did a drop trailer load, thinking I was going to get out of it unscathed, the broker tried to pull some sneaky stuff. Look, there are brokers out there, not all of them, but there's quite a few that will tell you things just to get the freight moved. And that's what I'm talking about. That was the beginning of my week. Is one of the drivers I dispatched, he showed up at the receiver and they're like, dude, you got the wrong product. You need to go over here. And so we added the mileage, the rate per mile rate to the rate con. And every time I called the broker, they were extremely friendly. They knew I was frustrated, even though I wasn't like yelling at them. They were like, sorry, sir, I know this is frustrating. We'll get you taken care of. Once your driver's done, we'll get you a new rate con. It's been approved. Is there anything else I can do for you? So shout out to ArcBest. They took care of us. And I had the direct shipper's phone number. So like the account manager at the shipper, and had a conversation with her to make sure that we had all the right info. And that was good. That is what I'm talking about. You don't want to, like how many times, like there's a certain brokerage, I won't name them, that you go to look at their loads on the DAP board and they've got like 5 or 6 phone numbers. And so that particular brokerage knows that they're hard to get a hold of, yet doesn't do anything about it. Fix your system. And having the ability to remain calm and realize, okay, that's just like TQL. Like TQL doesn't like to give you the actual cities, until you call, which I understand why they do that. That was the first thing I had to figure out, is why do they do that? Okay. But as frustrating as it is, I understand. And it's just something that I've come to terms with when dealing with them. Now, am I more likely to call them first? No. But I do know that once I have a person on the inside, I will call that person directly. Hey, I've got a truck in, Atlanta. What can you do for me? And the digital brokers are kind of changing the landscape as well. By showing customers names and stuff like that. And so that's where the click and goes really have an advantage, because you have the times and the locations. Like I'll take a load to Chicago depending on where it's going in Chicago, right? I'm not going to go to some small Mexican grocery store in the middle of Cicero Avenue. I'm not going to do that, but a warehouse out there in Bolingbrook, I'll do that. So knowing the addresses and customers is important. And TQL won't tell you what the customer is until you actually book the load and you get your dispatch sheet. So, and they'll call you a bunch of times, you give them tracking information and all that. And that's part of the game. I understand that. I don't get mad at them for it. Is it annoying at times? Yeah, but I understand that's their business model. That's what's made them successful. And you just got to, it's a part of the game. You can't be mad at the football during the football game, right? Imagine if the situation yesterday with Jeff was your direct customer. Would this situation be any different if no broker in the middle, or would the carrier drop that customer? That's a good question. And there is an importance with brokerages. There is. And look, let's say you're a 1 truck or 2 truck operation. Getting a direct customer is difficult, and you got to have equipment. You got to have trailers to drop usually, or like Christian Trucker had a direct shipper, but he had to invest in equipment to do it. And the next best thing that you can do without having to invest in equipment is find the broker that's got that customer directly and has had that customer. It's not getting it from a 3PL board. They've had a good history with that customer for years, and you can be dedicated to that broker, and it's pretty much the same thing. I have friends that were able to move during the bid shutdowns with no problem, and they were still north of $2 when everybody else was struggling. So that is your next best thing. What I can offer is, if I can get in with the broker and say, hey, look, I've got 5 trucks. I can keep them, if you can keep me loaded, I can keep you moving. And, that's the level, that's where I'm trying to get to. And I've already got one broker that has a steady freight out of Georgia. So now I can send someone to Georgia and get them out for a decent price. That's key. Getting someone to a good market from a dead market with a good rate, that's a challenge. And so getting someone out of, like, let's say I want to put that driver on only those loads, getting a spot load back, well, that'd be easy because he's going into a good area that pays well coming back, right? So having key customers in dead areas is awesome because you get the high rate going into the dead area and you get a decent rate coming out, and your driver never has to worry. That's the kind of thing that I look at, because that's what I would look at for myself. I've done that. Oklahoma City can be a dead market, but the broker I was using could get me a load out of there all the time. It was a product that was easy. And it got me back to Missouri or Arkansas, and I would rinse, repeat, and that made me a lot of money. Consistency makes you money. John, Big Houston, other trucker James Best. Donnie Luke will agree with me. Power of kindness and love. Yet I used to sing for a death metal band, so go figure, right? So all you new people out here see the opportunity. The more of us small guys make customer service and communication a priority in our growth as carrier and broker. Yes, we can provide what Schneider can't. Give you a perfect example. Schneider had an account with a pallet place here in Springfield. One day I pick up the load, and I love it. Shipping clerk guy, he's like, yeah, can I help you? Yeah, I'm with Schneider picking up load, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Schneider. You guys are ticking me off. He goes, I'm not taking this out on you. He's very polite. He goes, man, but you guys are supposed to pick up this load 2 days ago. I said, let me know what's going on. I'll call customer service. I'll take care of you. And he goes, okay. I said, look, why don't you give me your phone number? And when you got something, let me know, and I'll make sure that Schneider knows. And because I took care of that customer, I got better treatment than the other Schneider guys came in. Case in point, my very good friend Rob Thomas, Big Tex, he calls me and goes, hey, Steve, what do you know about this pallet place? I'm looking at this load because he was at Schneider at the time. I said, yeah, go on in there. It's I told him how to get in there. I said, when you go in there, though, this is important. Tell him that you know Steve, the guy in the green truck. He's like, okay. And so sure enough, he walks in there. He got the attitude till he told him that he knew me, and then the guy changed his tune. Now, as much as I could do, my hands were tied because Schneider was in control of that, right? Not me, because I was just the driver. However, guess what? Swift got that contract after that. There was a bunch of Swift trailers in there. So with competition so serious, some customers want capacity. They want you to be able to drop 20 trailers, and go that route. But some want you to care about their load. They want you to care about their product. And that's what a smaller carrier like Mr. Charles or like Trucking or SRO Logistics or Advanced, we can do that for you, right? We can do that for you. Ed, stop pay for wrong address. Yeah, we kind of did it a little bit differently, but that's usually the goal. We got a really good rate, so we were happy about it. Build relationships with customers, not brokers. Well, you can do both. You can do both, Mr. Best. Learning how, I've got a tool at my disposal. You're absolutely right, Mr. Best. I got to learn how to use it, just like you're learning how to use yours. Think of getting a horse and a cart because of the fuel prices. Britt, I think a lot of that is because of the truck that you, the way your truck's geared. We had a guy over here that had a flat top X tanker Freightliner, and he was getting horrible fuel mileage. But yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for the guys who have the big hoods. You should call me Steve. That's my name. John. You can call me. Red Pepper, good morning, man. How are you doing? Hanging in there. Great work, Snorelord. Watching the journey is really great. I really appreciate you sharing it all. Well, narcissism is awesome. You got to love it. You know, what makes a person want to go, you know, I'm going to get on YouTube and tell you my life story. I want to pay attention to me. Oh, man. So, Tennessee Trucking, what's up? But I appreciate the compliment. People have told me I need to take my compliments when I get them, because I'm just like, you know, I know I have confidence, but I don't, right? I have confidence in myself, and I know how to rally up to confidence, like Rocky movie style. But you know that moment in the Rocky where, you know, he's struggling, and then there's that 1 minute that he kind of comes to this epiphany, and then Survivor's music kicks on, and then, you know, then everything's better. You know, I've been able to do that for myself, but it could be a challenge at times. I don't have, like, just like, what do you do if you get 6 people right now? And be like, I'm screwed. So, but anyways, guys, we've been at this for an hour. That's usually where I limit. I got to get to work. I got to find some freight, and see if I can't run my own truck for a minute. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you. You know, and Red Pepper, hope you get to feeling better. Hope you get to feeling better. I think, you know, I know what you're dealing with, so I understand completely. But I know that winter can be a challenge for everyone. I know that wife and I were just talking about that this morning. I'm very privileged to do what I like. You know, I don't mind dealing with drivers because I'm a driver myself, and you just have to know how to deal with personalities. But this weather, man, can kind of drain you when it's constantly cold. And I know that running in the Southeast has its own challenges. Yeah, you're not dealing with cold and snow, but you're dealing with a lot of different, you know, you're dealing with low rates, first of all, you know, so. That's a good plan, Britt. Good vibes, says Haggy. Thank you. Applause to that. Have a great day, everyone, says Shannon. Enjoyed listening to your comment on business and service. Everyone stay safe out there. Look, guys, if a moronic metalhead truck driver can do it, you can do it too. All right? Peace.